Welcome, my dear guests, to the captivating expanses of my story. Chapter 19. The vastness of the cosmos trembled in the face of the thundering movements of the First Space Fleet. Meanwhile, the First Space Fleet of the mighty Empire glides with majestic grace through the infinite vastness of the universe. On board the Justice, the proud flagship of the Space Fleet, Admiral Paulina Romero stood on the lofty command bridge, her eyes focused sharply on the tactical displays. The Kaotha system stretched before them like an untouched gem, ready to be conquered by them. But in a moment of silence, as the tension in the air lay like an electrically charged storm, the telepathically gifted crew members felt a shaking out of the veil. From the depths of the hyperspace, an enemy force emerged in the neighboring Windry system, a space fleet of unprecedented size. It was the cultist of the Uni who had jumped into the neighboring Windry system in a bold maneuver. An act of aggression that exploded the limits of the imaginable and put the fate of the galaxy at stake in a single moment. Paulina licked her fists, her eyes sparkled with determination. Should it turn the First Space Fleet around and put down the mighty ships of the Unis? Or should it move further and secure the Kaotha system as planned? The thoughts revolved in her head as she weighed the possibilities. But then, after a moment of contemplation, the experienced commander made her decision. Keep the course unshakable. She dared with a voice that was like the sound of a distant thunderstorm. We must first secure Kaotha, no matter what price it demands. Soon, we can take care of this collection of inferior cultist ships. With a stoic calm, Paulina observed the majestic advance of Justice while, in the background, the alarm sirens pointed out their screaming sound into the galaxy's vastness. The time had come when the fate of the cult of the University would unstoppably be fulfilled, she was sure of that. Myra Gupta, the persistent guardian of the Empire's core sector, thrown at her desk, plunged deep into files and plans. The preparations for the admission of the newly trained members of Parliament were in total progress and claimed their unshared dedication. In a moment of silence, broken by the confusion of her thoughts, she heard a persistent knock at the massive door. She opened with quiet cries and revealed her sister Nadine, whose face was marked by deep concern. "Sister Myra," she began urgently, "I need to speak with you." With a kind gesture, Myra answered the question, "What brings you to me, Venerable?" Her voice sounded like a distant sound from another dimension as she filled the room with an aura of secrets. The words floated in the air as if they were carried by invisible vibrations that could only be perceived by those sensitive enough to receive them. Myra was known for her mystical aura and her ability to read the thoughts of others. Their presence alone gave the room a magical atmosphere. Nadine began to speak with a deep voice. Her words sounded through space like an echo from a distant galaxy. "I am very concerned, my friends, about the cosmic orientation that our beloved Empire has taken," she began. Their eyes sparkled like stars in the darkness of the universe. This insatiable hunger for power, this obsession with conquest. All this is in clear contradiction to the ethical ideals that once shaped our civilization. Their words were like a comet slide, dragging through the heads of their listeners and transporting their thoughts into another dimension. A deep sigh escaped Myra's lips as she shared her thoughts with the religious sister. The worries that lurked within her were so intense that she would never express them in words. "Be patient, for the path of the Empire is lined with setbacks and swallowed paths," she calmed with a gentle voice. "And always our highest aspiration remains the well-being of the people." Nadine left the Senate with only a half-hearted conviction while Myra looked back at her with thought. The spark of doubt had entered their minds like an evil seed. In the distant Windry system, a cosmic spectacle of epic magnitude unfolded. The battle that was taking place there reached its bloody culmination when the mighty Justice, an armada of unimaginable strength, confronted the moaning hordes of the Uni fleet. In a fierce battle that exploded the limits of the imaginable, the Phalanx forced its enemies to retreat. The galaxy trembled in the face of the enormous energies unleashed in this battle, and the fate of countless worlds hung on the silk thread. But the brave Marines of EC Justice did not give in. They fought with a determination unique only to the chosen. The brave Phalanx leader led his troops with iron discipline and strategic skill as the battle tumbled. Every blow they give, every enemy they defeat, brings them closer to their ultimate goal, to restore peace and security in the galaxy. With a triumphant spark in her eyes, Paulina rapped her fist as the enemy ships scattered in all directions. A superior smile rolled around her lips as she cried contemptuously, "Flee, you cowards! You cannot escape your defeat." The words sounded through space while Paulina gave herself to the unwavering certainty that these cowardly enemies would never have grown up to the excellent space fleet of the Empire. Her fascinated gaze waved towards the majestic star maps, proudly pricking on the wall. The infinite vastness of the galaxy was close to reaching, as if they were waiting for the decisive blow to submit to the fearless conqueror. In the infinite vastness of interstellar space, however, manifested the Ek Armstrong, a modest research ship of extraordinary nature. On board this technological miracle, an elite group of scientists, historians, and engineers gathered to explore the mysterious Magnus system. As soon as Ek Armstrong had taken over its space station, the first revelations were immediately revealed to it, yellowed records that lifted the veil of the past and gave insight into long-forgotten conflicts that once shook the galaxy. Dr. Griffin, the outstanding xenohistorian, went deeper into analyzing the artifacts. Fascinating, she whispered respectfully. It seems that secular and religious factions have fought bitterly. This could explain why the once blooming civilization in this place is in ruins. With an eager fingerprint, she danced over the holographic keyboard and wrapped her breakthrough insights into the digital fabric of her futuristic data diary. Through the vastness of the galaxy and time, she hoped that her words would not only be lost but also absorbed by future generations and recovered from past mistakes. In this era of technological wonders and endless possibilities, humanity needed to learn from the mistakes of its predecessors and evolve. The young researcher knew that history often tended to repeat itself and that it was time to break this cycle. She hoped that her findings would help create a better future for all. While the curious researchers continued to pursue their studies, the mobile army, under the unwavering leadership of legendary General Heimer, reached the recently captured Kasach II system. With a stoic mirror reflecting her inner strength and determination, Nadine, the brave commander, viewed the breathtaking scenery that unfolded before her from her noble command seat on the considerable landing ship. Amid an ocean of activity, where the invasion forces took positions and prepared for the forthcoming conquest with extreme diligence, Nadine did not hesitate momentarily. Position the siege guns. Her voice dared through the command headquarters. Prepare yourself for the inevitable attack. This system will belong to the mighty Empire, even if it costs us the last breath. The troops implemented the orders with precision that bound with military perfection. Nadine, a fearless leader, nodded, satisfied. Soon, the sky would be adorned with a blue flag with the proud star eagle. As the war machinery of the Empire progressed unstoppably, the battling flagship finally achieved justice with the Zontaris system. Paulina, the fearless commander, leaned back in her state-of-the-art seat and let her penetrating gaze float over the vastness. She fixed the navigator with ice eyes, and her voice sounded sharp like a laser beam. Status report, she demanded while holding the control of the spacecraft firmly in her hands. The navigator, an experienced astrogator with years of training, did not hesitate long and calmly replied, "We are on course and have no unexpected events to record. All systems are stable and work perfectly." The captain whispered, satisfied, but her gaze revealed that she would remain vigilant, for in space, any carelessness was fatal. "Admiral," the officer proclaimed in a narrow voice, "we have successfully secured the system. No enemy ship is within our reach. Should we continue our course?" A narrow smile played around Paulina's lips as she said in a firm voice, "Direct our course to the nearest star system," she said. "'Cause we have a galaxy to conquer." The bridge crawl bowed down with reverence. Paulina, the administrator of the First Space Fleet, could not suppress a satisfied smile. They proceeded unstoppably with every system they penetrated, like a devastating storm that destroyed everything in its path. The months passed in an endless dance of time as the Empire unstoppably stretched out its senses and re-exhibited its immense power with each expansion. But in the depths of the galaxy, resistance arose against the boundless urge to conquer, which threatened to devour it. The worries in the eyes of Sister Nadine became increasingly apparent as she retreated into the shadows of the monastery. The darkness of the night enveloped her like a veil of secrets when she met with Sister Myra for a confidential conversation. A mixture of fear and anxiety had permeated the words flowing from her lips as she revealed her deepest fears. The dark atmosphere increased the seriousness of the situation while the two sisters covered themselves in the silence of the monastery. Sector Governor Myra listened attentively and tried to reassure Nadine and comfort her. Together, they sought solutions to the challenges that plagued Nadine. With a trembling voice, she asked the question burning in the depths of her soul, "Are all these devastations, all the pain, really inevitable?" Her words hung heavily in the air as she built up the courage to question the unimaginable. "Do we have to surrender to such cruelty just to manifest our power?" The words sounded as if they questioned the very essence of humanity itself. Myra whispered compassionately as her eyes waved away. Deep inside, she shared the hesitant thoughts of the religious sisters, which floated over them like a shadow. But her words were firm and robust when, with a voice of determination, she said, "We must preserve our strength and sharpen our senses, for in these times, we must uphold ourselves." Sometimes, it takes toughness to secure the long-awaited peace. Whether she was convinced of these words, she could not find out. In the depths of their thoughts, between the pulsating strands of the neural network, was hidden an unfathomable uncertainty. Like a distant fog covering the contours of reality, the question of one's belief floated in her soul. Was it the truth she spoke or just empty phrases she preached to herself? The answer remained hidden while she continued seeking clarity and certainty. In a dark crypt, deep in the innermost parts of the citadel, the divine Empress Savia Heimer, the ruler, stood up with a mirror of concern as she sat by the window. The towers glittered outside at dusk like sparkling stars proclaiming the world's fate. The Zui remains a mystery. She remained in her thoughts as she sought to discover the unfathomable nature of this alien species. Their technology, so much more powerful than ours, put them in a state of vigilance. Because we knew we couldn't be safe. The generals bowed their heads in solemn agreement. "We will strengthen the patrols, Your Highness," replied General Aaron with a voice permeated by determination and loyalty. "If our watchful eyes encounter anything suspicious, we will notify you immediately so you can apply the wisdom of your decisions." Savia replied with a thoughtful mirror, "Be warned and act accordingly." Her words were reflected in the air. The Zui, these mysterious beings, may pose an evil threat to our glorious empire. A silent whisper escaped her lips as she looked into the distance. The future, encircled by countless veils of uncertainty, carried many dangers that were only about to set their way. But amid these gloomy prospects, the mighty empire rose, unwavering and unshakable like a rock in the burning. Unstoppably, the human species' dominant power extended through the galaxy's infinite vastness. Like an unstoppable river, they conquered one planet after another, while the resistance of the cult of Fair and the universe civilization ceased. But this triumph had a high price. Thus, the eventful year 2298 came to an end of epic magnitude. Conflict still shook the world, and the shadows of uncertainty hung heavily in the air. But amid these dark times, a seed of hope was planted, a spark that could become a burning fire of peace, understanding, and final victory over violence. However, whether this spark would grow into an actual sea of flames remained a secret that only the stars could reveal. Hey, I would be happy if you could give my video a like, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date.